Hi, Kathianne Lewis, coming to you from one of my favorite places in the world, which is my art studio. And I have a lot of paper. Oh, I hope I get this to stay up there. There we go. There we go. Today, I want to reiterate something that I talked about on May 21st. And that is the cycle of moving a thought into a belief, into an expectation, which the Bible calls faith. See, a lot of times we have new thoughts we hadn't had before. That's why our particular philosophy is often called a new thought philosophy or a new thought religion, because we try to think outside the cultural norm. And the cultural norm is that only a certain number of people will be successful, that I have to be this way, this way, this way, and this way to succeed or have friends or get by. I am the result of my history. I can't really go much farther than how my ancestors set me up, that kind of stuff. And a lot of it has to do with God. A lot of it has to do with the idea that God's out there and accessible if we're really good. And we have to prove ourselves, and we have to get God's attention. That we have to go through a guru or an intermediary. And then we have new thoughts which say that we are connected to the divine. And God is good, and so are we. Now, those are thoughts that a lot of people resonate with. And so we begin to think those thoughts. But it takes a lot of thought to change a belief. We can think it's a good thought, but we still believe that maybe that's for other people, or maybe this isn't going to really work, or we like the idea, but we don't feel it in our soul. The Old Testament, one of the lines in the Old Testament that I really like is, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." And that's just the way they talked. As a person thinketh in their heart, so they shall be. So how do we get from that's a nice thought into believing it? And then we can believe it, but not in such a way that we expect a result. I mean, I'm sort of surprised when people are surprised that they had a miracle. I'm always surprised when people are surprised that their prayers worked. And sometimes they're like, "Oh my goodness, it worked." Because what that reaction tells me is you didn't really expect much. Prayer was just a good thing to say you were doing, or a thing that made you feel better, but you didn't expect the universe to respond. But when we start to expect the universe to respond, when we start to expect that good things will happen, then that becomes an everyday miracle. Awesome normalities happen over and over again. So how do we get there? How do we get from good thought to expectation, which will produce results? We keep thinking the thoughts. Ernest Holmes gave an illustration. He said, your life is like a bucket. And if you filled that bucket with a lot of just debris, and you start adding new and clean water drip by drip, it's going to take a long time to clean that bucket. Now, the more you turn to God, the more you do your spiritual practice, the more you have a mantra going on that is about God being good and so are you, and you can expect results, the more you take that drop and you turn it into a hose. But still, you've got to clean out that old sludgy thinking, so that the new crystal clear consciousness can come forth and demonstrate a better life. It doesn't mean stuff won't happen, but you will be the kind of person that can handle it when it happens. So you think it and think it and think it. You don't do one little prayer, a drive-by affirmation, and expect a result. You don't it's like, I had somebody pray for me. Well, yeah, have somebody pray for you. That means the two or more will be praying. you and someone else, but you still have to believe, and you still have to open yourself up to believing and open yourself up to receiving, which is a workshop I should be doing again, by the way. The receiving workshop, because I notice a lot of people get uncomfortable receiving. Anyway, you think it until you start to believe it, until it makes sense in your head. And then you continue until it is incorporated within your body. When you just start to vibrate at that level of expectation, of goodness, of a healing, of a mended relationship, of the kind of life that you would call a thriving life. And it usually has so much less to do with stuff and so much more to do with freedom. So try that on, my dears. Try that on. Oh, and one last little thing, just a tiny little thing. Watch your actions. Do your actions support your old life or your new life? Your actions. So if your old life was a people pleaser, are you still trying to people please? If your old life was about working really hard, are you still working really hard to prove yourself? If your old life was about poverty, are you afraid to save? Are you afraid to give? See, even a little bit, even saving a little bit, even giving a little bit starts the flow of, oh, I have enough. I have more than enough. And that starts to create consciousness. Anyway, hope that helps. See you next week. Bye for now.
If you want it, it can happen when you just get out the way. You can dream it, it can happen when you get out of the way. If you believe it, doors will open when you get out of the way. If you see it, then you can dream it when you get out of the way. And it will come to you. It will come to you. It will come to you. Yes, dreams come true when you think it, feel it, when you get out of the way, when you ask for it, and when you believe it, you can get out of the way. It will come to you. It's coming now.